Hello, I'm Juan Davies, Chief Creative Officer at KCT and PBS SoCal, and we're partnering with the newsroom of KPCC and LAist on a daily reporter roundup. Let's start again with you, Sharon. What is the latest with the Bobcat fire?
Yeah, the bobcat fire continues to expand, partly due to record dry conditions that make it more easy for the plants and trees to catch on fire. Today, the fire is up to 50,000 acres, and there are new evacuation orders at the north end of the fire for communities of Juniper Hills, Devil's Punch Bowl, and Paradise Springs. Now, these are all rural communities, about 1,000 people, all north of Highway 2 and south of Pear Blossom Highway, kind of on the Antelope Valley side of the mountains. We're talking horse lots on the lower parts and mountain piney homes up above. Meanwhile, the evacuation orders for Arcadia and Sierra Madre have been lifted, but the historic Mount Wilson telescopes remain at risk.
The Conception boat fire, which, if you remember, killed 34 people a little over a year ago, we have a new update today on what NTSB has learned and what they haven't. And Lita has more.
That's right. The NTSB just opened up its public case docket as part of its ongoing investigation into that deadly dive boat fire. So it contains hundreds of pages of documents. So everything from interview transcripts to factual reports, engineering diagrams, and even receipts and invoices from repairs and inspections of the boat in recent years. So all of this combined gives us what is really by far the most detailed account yet of the Conception's final voyage. And we've learned a few new details as well. One of the surviving crew members told investigators they saw sparks fly out of a wall socket when they plugged in a cell phone charger before going to sleep the night of the fire. And other crew members stated that at least one passenger may have brought their own power strip on board to recharge things like cameras, strobe lights, and other electronics. So one thing that I should point out is that none of this documentation leads us to any definitive conclusion about how or even why the fire started. And the NTSB says it hasn't made that determination yet either. However, the agency will hold a public hearing to go over its final report next month.
Our newsroom has also been following COVID outbreaks in detention centers, jails, and prisons. We have news now that the Adelanto Detention Center has had more than 3 dozen detainees test positive for COVID. Ellie has the latest.
Yeah, as of today, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement says 39 people have tested positive for the virus so far, and other test results are pending. At least 80 detainees in the affected housing units have been tested. Now, advocates have been on alert for months now, concerned about the threat of coronavirus at the facility. Earlier this year, the ACLU of Southern California sued ICE, asking for the release of detainees from the center. The group argued that social distancing wasn't possible there. Now, prior to this current outbreak, there had only been 14 confirmed cases of COVID-19 since the start of the pandemic. Officials say all 14 of those cases were people who had newly arrived to the immigrant detention center.
And finally today, the Christopher Nolan movie Tenet was finally released, and the box office doesn't bode all that well for a quick return for the movie industry. John has that.
Yeah, it might be a little bit unfair for any one movie's performance to serve as a referendum on the future of theatrical exhibition, but Hollywood decided that Christopher Nolan's Tenet was going to be that test, and it didn't pass. This film was delayed 3 times. It opened over Labor Day weekend, and the ticket sales were not that impressive. In fact, in its first 2 weeks in theaters, Tenet grossed less than Nolan's last film, 2017's Dunkirk, made in its first weekend. There are a couple of factors that would explain that poor turnout. Theaters in big cities like Los Angeles and New York remain closed, and auditoriums that are showing the film are at limited capacity. So they might only have 50 people in a theater that could seat 250. But there's something else at play. Dr. Anthony Fauci told MSNBC last week that he doesn't think it'll be safe to return to theaters until sometime late next year. And a couple of studios, including Warner Brothers, which made Tenet, subsequently pushed back the release of several other big films, including Wonder Woman 1984. So for now, you might have to get used to streaming or see if you can find a drive-in.
Thank you, John. I think that after these 5-6 months, we're all very used to streaming already. Well, thank you all at the KPCC and LA's newsroom, and thank you for tuning in. Stay healthy, take care of your neighbor, your family, and we'll see you tomorrow.